Hey, it's Gray. I'm back at my parents' house. I have to keep these drapes closed like all the time, otherwise this room gets like ungodly hot. Even with the air conditioning and like 3 fans running, it gets ridiculous. I don't know where I'm going with this. I got a haircut. I like it. My mom doesn't. I don't know about my dad because he's not here. My mom and I had a bit of a stare-off about it across the room, and she eventually said that I looked like Justin Bieber. Last time I talked about how finals were almost over and I was getting pretty burned out, and I've had a few days catching up on sleep, and I don't know, my day started off pretty good, but a little rough when I got home. Well, it started out good. I was like, yeah, I'm such an adult. I went to the dentist, had no cavities, and then I went to the bank, rescheduled some stuff on the phone, which is like a big deal because I have a lot of phone anxiety, and got my hair cut and got home. And my mom was still asleep at the time because she works nights, and so I didn't have to kind of face her right away, and I knew she'd have a problem with it because it's a whole lot shorter than it was. I mean, it was getting out of hand. It's just really obnoxious and heavy and thick, and it's so hot here that I was just like, no, just shave it off, please. So right now, it's actually like, we buzzed it with a number 4 clipper guard, so it's like half an inch. I was actually really pleased. I don't know if I'd ever had my hair cut by this one stylist, and but she was like no hesitation at all. She's like, okay, what do you want? And I told her, and she's like, okay. And it was wonderful, and she did exactly what I wanted, and even if it's like a little bit short on top, it'll grow out. It's hair. I can do a lot with it, and I'm happy that it's like off my face and off my neck. I feel like pounds lighter. It's great. But Mom had a problem with that. I feel bad kind of talking about this because she's been so wonderful about it and really supportive and everything, and it's just, well, I guess I'll quote her and say she misses her girl. So, I don't know, she just kind of makes little comments here and there, like kind of hinting at wanting me to be more feminine. And it's like, no, it's not me. And while I promised myself that I would not apologize for who I am and what I will become, whatever that is, at the same time, I feel bad for causing her distress. It's hard. My dad doesn't know anything, and I don't plan on telling him. He's away for about a week. Last night was cool though. I spent a lot of time reading this one blog about a gender-neutral person who is transitioning female to male because they prefer being seen and perceived as male, but they still identify as gender-neutral or neutral. I don't know how to say it. It's like, I don't even know how to say it in French. Neutrois? It feels clunky. I'll figure out how to say it properly. Because they helped me realize that that is how I'm feeling. Like, I was reading their story and I'm like, are you me? Like, 5 years in the future? Like, holy crap. It was incredible. And after reading about it for like 6 hours last night, I wrote up a Tumblr post and essentially came out as gender neutral. Also with the new, kind of new name, Gray. I mean, my friends, a lot of them have seen this coming. Like, I've been really anxious about names and labels and whatnot, and trying to just find terms that described me. It wasn't so much the term, because I'd like come across gender neutral, whatever, a lot in like searching online, but I hadn't really come across people who identified as such, and maybe I just wasn't looking in the right places, but I just kind of stumbled across this blog. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I go and read it and start reading them. I just got like absorbed for, like I said, like 6 hours. And so it was amazing to find someone who essentially has almost the same story as me, and I'm just like, oh my god, there is someone out there who is like me, and it was incredibly validating, and it just made me feel so right. So I know it's going to be hard, and I still don't really know how to talk about it, and that's, I guess, why I'm making these videos, is to try and figure out the words to talk about it. But today there was this long kind of awkward silence in which I wanted to talk to my mom about it, but I didn't really know how. So I'm hoping that this is going to help that, and maybe I can find some sense of community. We'll see. I mean, she's been doing research and stuff, and I'm so grateful for that she's looking for information on her own. And doing that is really, really great, and it's just hard to be kind of the cause of this amount of distress. I mean, she's not like freaking out about it or anything like that, but we're both very quiet sufferers, so when we are upset or something, we go away by ourselves and think about it and stew, and I don't want to just leave it hanging or anything. I don't want to ignore it, but I also don't know how to talk about it, and that's really hard because I want to like comfort her and tell her it's going to be okay, that I'm not a different person or anything, it's still me, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't know how to say it. You know? I know more about myself, but then I know less about the world or something. I don't know. I just don't know. On a completely unrelated note, holy shit, Game of Thrones? Way to rip my heart out, Jesus. I hopped on Guild Wars afterwards to, like, recover. I was Skyping with my friend. He's read all the books, and none of his friends have. We're all just watching the show, so he was, like, waiting for that to happen and wondering how they were gonna deal with it in the show, and like, that was brutal. I'm like, yeah, it was brutal. I had to go and play hero for a while. That's why I hopped on Guild Wars afterwards. I was just like, I need to be part of a story that actually has a happy ending, because I don't know where Game of Thrones is going, and I'm just like, let's see what else. I'm working on costumes. I'm going to see some friends up north next week. I thought Philadelphia was a state. A couple of friends are in Philly, a couple are in Pittsburgh, and we'll see. My cat is entering the room, and she's leaving. Alright, this is going to go on forever if I keep adding to this. Jeez.